Did you know that couples don't get married until they're 27 and 29 these days? And that in 1960, women were just 20 years old and guys were 22 years old. So, what's changed? Well, they say that people want to work on their careers a little longer these days and they want to enjoy the single life. But what happens when we enjoy that single life and we're 27, 28, 29, 30 years old? Well, we start getting stuck in our ways and we're not used to another person being around all the time, right? So, why do couples fight and fuss the most? Money and communication. Or maybe that's lack of money and a lack of communication. Well, let me share a few things with you. This is, first of all, the first video of three. It's in July of 2023. So if you're watching one, be sure you watch all three because they go together. I want you to think about your childhood and I want you to think about your very best memory. What is that? If you have a pen and pencil, you might jot it down. And then I want you to think about what is the worst thing that you remember as a kid? I know for me, the worst thing I remember is in fifth grade. I lived in California. My grandparents were in North Carolina. And I remember my grandfather passing away and flying in a plane for the first time and all the heartache of that. A lot of times we tend to remember the hardships the most. And then I want you to picture your friends. What kind of people did you hang out with as a kid? Were they loners? Were they goody goods? Or were they the little rascals? They're always getting you in trouble. Now I want you to think back and I want you to think, you can kind of picture the kitchen at home. That's where we kind of hang out all the time. Did your parents get along good? Because you'll find out, however your parents got along, that's kind of what you expect to have in life. Were you expected to help around the house? Did your family move around a lot or did you stay in one place? And here's one. Were you fun to be with or were you always causing trouble? I like that one. All right. So whichever one stands out, do happy memories stand out or the challenges? Well, way too often, our past experiences color our future. Let me say that again. We bring that old baggage from the past, we bring it into the future. Have you stopped to think about what you want to keep from your past and what you want to bring with you? These kind of things like old baggage cause separation, anxiety, cause us to question ourselves, and we think, is this marriage even working out? I love the saying, it's not where you start, but where you finish. And I assure you that all your choices you made in life and the choices you make today and the choices you make tomorrow will count. Albert Einstein says, learn from yesterday, live for today, and then hope for tomorrow. People take their emotions, memories, bad habits out on their spouse. If they had a rough childhood, they feel angry and they feel gypped. And if they don't even realize it, whenever they bring that baggage into the marriage. Ann Landers says, hanging on to resentment is like someone you despise living rent free in your head. He's like, you got to take that with a little humor, right? She says, hanging on to resentment is like letting someone you despise live rent free in your head. Is anybody nodding their head going, oh my gosh, yeah, I have done that. I have done that. So what can we do about that? Number one, if you're having challenges in your marriage, recognize it. Stop and think. What's causing the challenge? Number two, look for those who can help you. Number three, have patience while you're looking for the answers. And four, find somebody who is wise, been married a long time, stayed married, and encouraging. Because we all need a listening ear. We need someone to listen and encourage us. And the fifth thing is learn how to communicate. Communicate. Let me say it. Learn how to communicate and talk with your spouse and learn to avoid the triggers that cause you conflict. I want you to stop and picture less arguing and more support and more appreciation. Be sure and watch for number 2 and number 3 video that's coming up this month. And if you do and you watch all 3, it will help you learn to understand, resolve, and then renew your marriage. Does that sound good? I'm Connie. You'll find free blogs at The Extraordinary Marriage and webinars. So go now to theextraordinarymarriage.com.